You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio.
Welcome to episode 16 of 808s and Joysticks, the show that bridges the gap between games, music, season with pop culture. I'm Tairell, and joining me today, as always, is Tom.
So, once again, it's been a busy week in gaming, and music is sort of a massive thing this week. We're going to cover that a little bit later, but we're just going to jump straight in, and there's been a lot of PlayStation news this week. Stories coming out now that they're not actually hosting PSX PlayStation Experience next year, and this could possibly mean that we have actual news for something coming in the near future console wise. Do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, what I'm thinking anyway, what my theory on this all is like they're postponing this year, and then next year they will either like tease the new next gen console, or possibly like they might tease it at E3 and then release, and then say like the release date at PSX. I don't know really know what that means, but hopefully it means something good. I don't know, because there's quite a few PlayStation games that like we've heard about at E3, but not much more has been expanded on. Obviously, Death Stranding got a new trailer and confirmed a bunch of people to be like voice actors for the game, like Troy Baker, all sorts of people. Stephanie Houston, she played Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5. There's like a little kind of hint in the new trailer that suggests she's in it as well. Also, this is the first time we've seen a Death Stranding trailer that showed like some type of like actual like enemy, like that looks like to be quite threatening. Like obviously we've seen the people dragging the main character to the ground, like Norman Reedus' character to the ground, but they weren't really like, they weren't threatening, they weren't like, you know, like something crazy or wild. But this is the first time we've seen like some type of like animal type like enemy in the game. So It was only a short trailer, but I was hoping that PSX was going to bring it all together this year, but obviously now it's not. So I don't really know what that means for PlayStation, but it has to mean something big. Like, I don't know. Do you agree? Do you think there's something big coming, or do you think they're just taking a break, or what do you think?
So I think within the next 2 years, there's definitely going to be a new console generation coming from PlayStation, at least. Well, we know Xbox has. So Xbox is working on that. So within the next 2 years, I'm guarantee they're releasing a console of some sort, whether it be that hybrid thing they're on about where they have a streaming console and a normal console. But PlayStation is also working on something. I've known from the rumours we were hearing about dev kits and everything, and the amount of rumours and everything surrounding that seemed too much to be true at the time as well. And I definitely think they are planning something like that. I think what they're going to do is basically have a big year of games. So we've got all these massive first-party PlayStation exclusives coming out in 2019. Now, these games are obviously going to come out. Whether that means that we're going to announce a PlayStation 5 during that time or after these games have come out, we'll have to wait and see. I think they'll announce something possibly E3 after the majority of these games have come out, and say something like 2020. And then PlayStation Experience is going to be massive in 2019, where they show off like the concept of the new console or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking is going to happen as well, and or either that, or we're going to see maybe they're going to follow in the suit of Nintendo, and they might have a PlayStation 2 classic, or I don't really know what PlayStation is up to at the moment. They're a bit of a mystery company, like, and that's weird for Sony. Like, they seem to be the one that we know the least about, like, their plans at the moment, which is a bit weird. They're usually pretty forthcoming with all of their information, but Xbox is seeming to be pretty transparent at the moment with what they're doing and their plans. Nintendo is kind of transparent at the moment. Obviously, we know what's going on with their online service, which has been rectified, which we shall discuss later, because obviously Tom has a Switch, so he can give us insight on what the actual online service is. We can get a first-person review of how it is, what's on it, how it works, stuff like that. I don't know. Have you messed about with online that much, Tom? We haven't really spoke about it, so.
Yeah, just sort of quickly go over it. It's good. The chat app obviously isn't the best solution to the problem. We discussed this last time. I said it was a good solution, but I think for what they've got, it's the best solution. But is it the best solution as a whole for online service? No way. Basically paying just to play online now when you weren't before, which is sort of understandable because consoles do that, and I understand why they would put it behind a paywall because of that. Especially with third-party games. But you're basically just paying for SNES games at the moment. NES games that come every month. And
yeah,
as much as these games are really good, the controls and the lack of ability to modify controls and do certain things at the moment, they could rectify that, but at the moment, does sort of lack a little bit of the emulation aspect that you would expect from something like that.
Yeah,
but I do think that they will rectify it.
I had no idea. I didn't really think that was going to be a big issue because, like, there's not really much you can do. Like, because obviously you can get the NES controller, so then they would play naturally. But I guess, yeah.
Well, the thing is,
maybe with the modern setup, it's a bit weird. But Nintendo haven't really shifted their controls as much, though. Like, from the NES, like, everything really is still that kind of, like, you know, your D-pad.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a NES controller. The controls are different to what you would normally play on as a NES, which is confusing. Okay. And you can only buy the controllers if you signed up to the service, and the controllers only work with the NES games and no other games.
Oh my gosh!
So they need to sort that out,
though. Yeah, this is why I've seen a lot of people like online complain about the online service and just saying about how, you know, it's basically just not worth it. But like, obviously, like, £20 is pretty worth it, like, for an online service. So fair enough, like, you're paying for that, but it doesn't seem to be bringing a lot. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was £40 and they could bring a lot more to the service, such as in-game chat, all that kind of stuff, all on the console, you got monthly games of, like, premium Nintendo games, like, not just NES games that everyone has. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can get NES games wherever now. Like, you know, they're pretty much, like, widely available. Like, you can go on the internet and you don't even need to download an emulator. You can play NES games on websites. Like, it just doesn't look like a great incentive for, like, people who have been waiting for this online service. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they've been waiting a long time to now pay for it. I just think it's just not fair to the people who have been waiting. Like, I don't know how you feel about it, Tom, because obviously you seem to be pretty not happy with it, but you seem to be like, it's just adequate. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say in it. I think that it's a decent service. It's cheap enough. It's a reasonable price for what you get. They are going to add, like, more and more NES games each month. If they, you know, they've got online capabilities, which is different to what you can get elsewhere. So that's a positive. And if they continue to add more games and allow a little bit more customization and control schemes or certain things, then they could be on for, like, a really good service. But at the moment, it's not there just yet. they have rectified some of the other stuff with saves and stuff like that, and they've confirmed loads of suspicions that things wouldn't be the case if the subscription ended, and that's all great. But I feel like there's just a little bit more they can do, and I feel like they will tweak the stuff. They've been doing that, and I think this was like their soft rollout in a way to try and grasp what people want and then expand on the service as it continues to grow.
Well, we shall see what Nintendo's next move is, because, you know, it's like they've been doing so good so far, and, you know, they've been on a roll, but it's kind of just like where they've got to the point now where like, oh crap, like it's come to online again. It's just like they just don't know what they're doing when it comes to online. I just really don't understand when Nintendo missed a step there. Like, they've had so many years, like this is their time to shine. They got the best console out, like it does everything. It's portable, it's a home console, it's got this game on there, you know, there's third party titles coming, but they're getting announced every month. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy how the console works. Like, it's amazing that a cartridge could fit such a massive game on it. Yeah, it just is. It's just a shame, you know. It's just a shame seeing like things like this happen. But hopefully they do improve. That's all I want to see. I want them to improve the online, and, you know, let's just see if we can finally maybe get the chat on the system, and, you know, things like that. Yeah, it's good that they say they changed the cloud save as well. I think that was really good too, because to 6 months, just like how PlayStation does it as well for 6 months. I think that's really cool. They obviously seen the fans wasn't happy, and they took that feedback and they were proactive on it, which shows that Nintendo is listening. So that's good.
Yeah, so sort of moving back onto Sony, and obviously we've just discussed PSX and a little bit of Nintendo there, but PlayStation definitely are looking to possibly release something in the future, we believe. And they are releasing something different in the future, actually, which has took inspiration from companies like Nintendo, Sega, and Atari, who have all released mini consoles within the last, 5 to 10 years. And that's the PlayStation Classic, which is coming. Now, the PlayStation Classic comes with 20 pre-installed games. It retails for £90 in the UK and $100 in the US. And it's coming the 3rd of December, which is pretty close. But there are some issues with it. The same as what we've just possibly discussed with the NES Online games on the Nintendo Switch. So
yeah,
it's nice. It's a more compact size than the original PlayStation. It has USB ports by the looks of it for controllers. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but it does look like it is USB ports. From what I can see, it is USB ports. The controller comes with a USB to plug into the console on the official website. And the only issue is the controllers are original DualShock controllers, which means there is no dual analog, which came later during the PlayStation 1 era.
Which rolls out so many games.
Yeah, well, there's games which are PlayStation 1 classics. The one that comes to mind is like Ape Escape or something. And it relies heavily on the analog sticks. And that game is obviously not going to be on this console because there's no way that you could possibly play it with that.
Which is leading me to believe that they're going to do Nintendo and probably release a follow-up, which is going to be so stupid. I just don't think... I don't know how people will really take to this, innit? Because they're playing with a D-pad. Like, playing Tekken 3 with a D-pad is wild. Like, I just want to say that. Like, playing Tekken 3 with a D-pad is wild. Like, to get moves off on that with a D-pad is insane. Like, I wonder if this is going to have, like, arcade stick support or anything as well. Like, I don't think it will. because the control port on it looks a bit weird. It looks like a new format. Like, I don't know what that is.
I think it is a USB.
It isn't. I mean, it's in the front of it. It's like a really weird like shape. It kind of looks like the back of your, like, you know, when you used to plug in the power supply. It looks like that.
Yeah,
Can you see it? Like, it looks like a really weird, like...
Yeah, but it does look USB.
That's way too, like...
Nah,
it's not. It's not. It's like a... I don't know.
I'm going to say that it is a USB by the looks of it. The cable included...
No, it's not. I've just looked at, like... I'm just looking at the book now, like, the manual and things like that. It comes with 2 PlayStation controllers, and they have, like... It's like the controllers, so it's obviously got a thingy with it. You know the normal ones we used to plug it in, the controllers. It's like one of those.
So
I don't think you could even buy, like, maybe a third party person might make a DualShock version of those controllers to plug into your PlayStation Classic, but it looks like it's been made for the console. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean, it's not just a USB.
There is a USB port. It's on the back there, and I'm guessing that's to power the actual console. Because the console doesn't actually come with a AC adapter. Again, one of the other downfalls, which is following in Nintendo's footsteps, where they didn't include AC adapters with many of their consoles.
Yeah. That is wild, though, being powered by USB, like C. Like,
I don't know if that's confirmed, but that obviously... There's a USB port on the back of the console, and it comes with a USB-C cable. So that could possibly be the reason why that's there.
Yeah, that's the only way, because how else is it going to be powered then?
I think there is space for an AC adapter on the back of it somewhere.
There isn't. It's just USB port, HDMI port, reset button, power indicator, open button, controller ports. That's it. So is it really truly going to be powered by a USB-C then?
I mean, they haven't released any more details that we know of yet, so...
But this is from the official PlayStation blog, like the instruction manual for it. So it shows you the, you know, like the schematic of, like, the console.
Yeah.
Like it's showing that. Yeah, and that's all it shows. It just says USB port at the back. So it must be that, and the HDMI obviously is for visual display. So it must be that USB port then?
Well, I don't know, because on the official website where you buy the console on pre-order, it does actually say that an AC adapter is not included with the console. So that makes me believe that there is some sort of thing to come with it. Like, you have to buy a separate thing.
We need shots of the back of the console. That's what we need shots of.
The front of it does look like USBs, but they are calling them controller ports, so it could be completely different.
I don't think they're USBs. They're definitely a lot larger than USBs.
I mean, so one of the problems is that they're charging £100 for this, well, $100 for this, which is more than what the SNES and the NES went for recently, the minis of them. And out of the 20 pre-installed games, we only have 5 so far, being Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer, Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. The trouble is, obviously with lack of analog support, that lowers the games that could be on there. It also means that with this console coming out in less than 2 months, we don't know what it's powered by, as we've just discussed.
Oh, I've just got some info that I've just seen. As I just did a little quick search, it says that the USB plug to go into your own power supply. So I'm guessing I'm guessing they're going to give, like, you can buy a separate power supply, but it's going to be a USB one.
Well, it comes with a cable in the box for USB, I think, but I don't think it comes with an AC adapter. It doesn't come with an adapter. So users will need to supply their own power. Oh, this is just... Why did they do this? Oh, Tom, I've got a picture. I've got a picture of everything. Okay. There's some sort of, like, thing at the back which can be opened. That's not helpful.
They said, what's under the flap? No one knows what's under the flap. No one's saying what's underneath it. It doesn't even show up on the schematic either. I'm just going to show you what's good.
Well, this is the problem. The fact that this console is coming out in less than 2 months, and there's many questions about it. And obviously, I think the pre-orders are actually going really high at the moment, which is surprising considering that there's not a lot of stuff actually about the console, like details. But there's only so much more that we can really find out.
Yeah, there is. Until we find out the full list of, like, games, then I'll make a decision on whether or not I would want to get one. But for now, like, based on the games that are on there, if no analog now, I don't really care, like, about it. Because here's me thinking, like, Ape Escape, everything was going to be on there, like, Wipeout, like, I guess not now, innit? Like, so...
Okay, so...
Oh, well.
Yeah. What's under the flap looks like it's just going to be an AC adapter, to be honest. Yeah,
it looks like it is, but that's cheeky if Sony are going to sell that separately. We're already shelling out like $100 / $89.99. How much are they going to sell that separate adapter for then? Or is it going to be exactly the same as the existing PlayStation adapter? I have no idea.
I think that's unlikely, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, we should probably talk about probably something that happened in the game industry this week in general. I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Telltale Games actually have... basically, I think they filed for bankruptcy and they no longer exist. They had to lay off over 200 employees, or over hundreds of employees, basically without giving any notice to them. So I think they gave them like a day notice or something, which obviously if you're working a job and you're getting a salary, you're meant to know at least 60 days in advance if there's going to be layoffs at a big company, which means if there's layoffs of over 100 jobs, you have to be notified 60 days in advance. Telltale didn't do this, and not only are they now bankrupt and the company basically defunct, apart from finishing some of their things with help of other people, their former employees are now suing them on behalf of a disgruntled former employee who got fired and then decided to file a case against them, and by filing a case against them also included everyone else that was mistreated in that act as well. So they're basically suing for unpaid wages of 2 months of the notice they were supposed to be notified for, and extra costs incurred for sort of like a... I can't think of the word, but basically for the fact that it's I still can't think of the word. but you sort of understand what's happening. They're getting sued by former employees for not following the law, not giving them notice.
Basically no severance package, no redundancies, no nothing. A lot of people have been unpaid for a lot of overtime that they've done on these games. It seems like a lot of people were fed up with the type of games that they were making at Telltale. A lot of developers wanted to go in different directions, and the heads wasn't allowing them to, by the looks of it. Like, how bored could you get making so many Walking Dead games? You know what I'm saying? Like, they must have been exhausted. Like, creatively, the games got worse over time. They cancelled the Stranger Things game, which is apparently still coming in another way, but we're not quite sure how that's going to be happening. As I was saying, they got licenses that they had to cancel, like the Walking Dead, Stranger Things. I don't know if they were ever going to do another Batman game. The Wolf Among Us is a comic book, I think. Am I wrong in saying that? It's a comic book. All these licenses that must have, like, you know, they've got contracts with this studio. Like, I just think it's just sad, because obviously the writing was kind of on the walls of Telltale, because a lot of people weren't playing their games anymore because they kind of got bored with what was going on in those type of like games, and other studios were starting to do Telltale style better than them, which is obviously horrible because it was their style first, innit? But when you fail to innovate on your own style and other people are like, well, we know what you're doing wrong, so we're going to innovate instead, that's how you start to lose like focus, and you lose your vision. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just really sad because the employees don't deserve that. The hardworking artists, devs, programmers, it must be horrible to know that all that work and that stress and all the things that come along with game development, that people don't see their families. They're working overnight. They're taking work home and they're still working on the game and things like that. And they think their work's all paid off. They're going to get bonuses. They're going to get paid for their overtime, and just to come to work one day and they're telling everyone, sorry guys, we're packing up. It's just really not on, and I think we need to do something about it. Like as a game development studios and stuff, they don't have the same protection as other companies. Like, I don't think there really is a great amount of unionizing for game studios by the looks of it. Obviously, we're starting to get into like proper law stuff, but I'm not quite sure about that. Tom, do you, like, that is quite true though, isn't it? There's not really much union like to protect yourself in like that kind of industry, is there?
So obviously, like, the lawsuit going ahead now is fine because it will probably rule in their favour. But the trouble is, there's not a lot that can really happen due to the amount of actual finance that goes into all of these things. So
yeah,
I've got a bit more information where basically the reason why Telltale was shut down is because a round of financing that was due to be completed by the end of the month, I believe, everything was going to plan. They had backers lined up that had backed projects and invested to give them funding for stuff. And then the final backer dropped out, which meant they could no longer continue with anything. Basically means the company was risking a lot to try and make these games for people. And I think the problem is, and it's a problem that we're seeing throughout the industry in general, that big companies will stay afloat, and a lot of companies, even Telltale's quite a big company that you would think, but they don't have the pull power that someone like an EA or a Bethesda or, I don't know, 2K would have. They can't keep producing content, and if it doesn't go well, they can't fund it. They have to source outfield, and as much as that hurts, they have to risk a lot to try and become sustainable. You know, if you look on the outside, you would think Telltale is a very successful games company until everything that happened. Their games get good credit all year round. A lot of people love them. The trouble is, do people actually buy these games, or do they watch streamers playing the games because it's quite niche? Once you've played it once, is there any replayability to it?
No.
There's a lot of these things that come into play. Do they rely on... Just hang on. Do they rely on episodic stuff being too reliant for them financially, whereas they rely on that income to come in every time an episode is released? And if it's not, do they then lose out?
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what the problem was. The format started to get stale, and people started to notice that the format's starting to get stale. And other games, for example, like Life is Strange, they could make major decisions within those games, and it would affect the storyline in a drastic way, which would carry on onto your other episodes. Whereas in Telltale games, it was very like I've done quite like a bunch of research on the Telltale games. Like I've tried like playing some of them. By the looks of it, the decisions won't alter the storyline drastically compared to Life is Strange. Now, that definitely makes sense in licensed IPs because you can't kill a character off. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, fair enough. You can't just kill a character, or you can't just do whatever. But like, maybe like other little like decisions that could change things, they don't really include that. Like, there's not nothing that really changes anything in the story. It's all just, you're just playing one big story. It doesn't matter what you do. It's gonna carry on. It's gonna happen. Like, it's, you know, for example, I'm trying to think of like a really good example for this. Probably like maybe Batman. Like, if it's following a certain arc in the comic books, you know, Batman is gonna like, he will beat the Joker. As I said, this depends what comic book, because there's been comic books where Batman doesn't beat the Joker at all. But, say for example, this is the type of storyline that we're following. There's no way you're going to beat, like, you know, he's going to beat the Joker in the end. Like, that's just the story that you're following through. And I think a lot of fans, what I was seeing, was saying that they started to get sick of the fact that, like, their decisions wasn't really impacting the game that much. And that's the only like really gripe that I started to see from fans. But you know, a lot of people really did enjoy Telltale games, and they were really upset. But I just think, yeah, maybe they just went too far with like those like comic book style story games, and I felt like they just didn't really know what to do after that. Like, they had, what was it, like 4-5 seasons of Walking Dead.
I can't really remember. There's 3, but they did some spin-off games as well that weren't based on the full storyline.
Yeah, like, they did all of those Walking Dead games, and people just got tired of them. Like, I would get tired of them if it was virtually like the same game, but just a new storyline, like, again, for another season that I've got to pay for. Like, it's just, yeah, it just gets a little bit, it would get a little bit too much.
Well, I think there's a lot of hype, I know, for the Walking Dead season, the final season, and they are going to finish that. But I think the trouble is, like you were sort of saying, they didn't innovate as much. So you'd think they acquire licenses and make games based on that, and that's fine, and that was their business model. Yeah. But I think when they reached a healthy position, they didn't capitalize on it and maybe come up with their own IP to be self-sustainable and not have to rely on acquiring licenses. Acquire licenses, because as you said, they have backers, and backers probably was the ones who were putting up the money to get the licenses in the first place. Well, Lionsgate are a studio that invested 40 million in 2015, and they're said to be the backer that actually dropped out this year. So, shit, I didn't know it was Lionsgate. That was the one that was putting up the money. That's the problem when you are getting money from elsewhere. Once it runs out, but you've signed contracts, there's not a lot that can be done at that point. You get funding to make the game, but I think So basically, employers knew that they're in a bad financial position as a company, but didn't expect it to come as soon as it did, which means that it's obviously been going on for some time. And, people were being worked, as a lot of people in the games industry do anyway, to get a game out. And that's fine, but by the sounds of it, it looks like the people were being worked to try and push these games out as quick as possible. And I feel like that might have been from bad business decisions and financial decisions at the top.
Yeah, it definitely was, because imagine you as a developer smashing out like Walking Dead games for the last 3 years. Like, you're gonna be so drained. Like I can imagine people were probably like dying to create something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then again, you just gotta think to yourself, like, these are like people who like, they joined Telltale for a reason, because they wanted to do like storytelling and things like that. Like, that's their like jam. But also at the same time, like, it's just really crazy how like the way they were making them work, and they're just gonna rush the game, and it's not gonna be good quality games. Like, you can see the cracks were showing in some of the newer Telltale games where they started to have problems and errors that the older Telltale games never used to have, because by the looks in the story, by the stories that are being told by former employees, they were literally being like rushed to make some of these things.
Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of like a controversial question, but would you say that gamers themselves and modern consumers have basically played a big part in the downfall of businesses like this, because they demand so much so quickly that people are forced to push stuff out?
Yeah, I want to say yeah and no. Obviously, I'm gonna be like that, because there's for and against why I could really say what this is all about. Obviously, once we get over this, we'll be going on to we'll go to another topic. But yeah, this is a really interesting topic, and I think it's important for us to talk about it. I think we as like modern consumers, we want everything now. We want everything on demand. We don't want to wait for anything. Don't want things to be direct online. I don't want to, people don't want to buy discs anymore. Everyone wants everything to just be there. So I'm thinking, Telltale probably couldn't keep up with the demand, but also they shouldn't have played in or pandered to like people, and should have like stayed true. Do you know what I'm saying? Like to what they were as a studio, of creating these small niche indie story games that were in a unique art style that other people are now running off with and making better games with. That's another thing as well. They need to update their engine as well. Like, they've not updated it since, which is kind of telling, because they probably didn't have money to update their engine. So I do think, we are the downfall. We as consumers are the downfall. We rush so many things, films, music. We put a lot of pressure on like creativity and allowing things to be a process. Like, remember back in the day, games used to just come out and that was it. They're in the shops. Mm-hmm. Now you got a whole press release, trailers. We need to know everything about the game. We need to know when the beta is coming out. We need to know when the alpha is coming out. We need to know when the closed beta is coming out. Like, we need to know every detail about the game until it comes out. But when we was kids, the game used to just get one feature in a magazine and it was out the next week. So, yeah, it's definitely changed, man. It's definitely changed. What do you think about it, though?
I do feel like the consumers are a big issue. I feel like people feel entitled to have something instantly, and I know for a fact people don't appreciate or even know the amount of work that goes into making a video game. People just expect it's easy and they can do it, and it really is not like that. These people work on wages possibly lower than they should be paid, really, really demanding hours, but they're so passionate about it that they really want to actually give something back to the community. And the trouble is, if the game gets delayed or doesn't come out in time, there's backlash. If the game's rushed and comes out with bugs, there's backlash. If the game comes out and people don't like it, there's backlash.
There's backlash.
And if the game comes out and it's good, like, yeah, it's good, but another game comes out the next week, so people forget about it.
Don't get me wrong. If a game comes out and it's good, there's still some backlash because people are not happy with there not being enough puddles in the game.
Yeah, there's I think it's the problem that people expect too much too soon, and it is also down to the industry, the way they've built everything up and tried to hype everything. Social media plays a little bit of a part in that. And also the people up top that are invested in these companies that basically want money, and they're there to invest to earn money. And rightly so, if they invest, they want money, but they want a quick return like a business. And unfortunately, the games industry isn't set up to work like that just yet, unless you've got stuff such as loot boxes in your game. Yeah, and people don't want that.
Exactly. Loot boxes, which are, wow, the government is now involved with loot boxes. So from the time the government's involved, yeah, I just know for a fact games are not going to bother putting them in anymore. That they're going to have to find a new way to charge people now, which is wrong, obviously, but they will find a new way. They always do. It used to be DLC, then it was the season pass, and then it was loot boxes.
And unfortunately, as much as I don't agree with it, I do see why it needs to be there. Because online is so important in the current age, and everyone wants to play online. The trouble is, you can't run or host an online game for millions of players for free. You have to pay for all that stuff. And if it's a free-to-play game, or a game that you pay once for and everyone plays on it the whole year and they expect it to be supported for a year or 2 years, you still have to pay your staff to support that, and you have to pay for your servers. And you sort of have to put some sort of payment form there.
Well, yeah, I do understand that, but I would rather would be in like additional content or just downloaded, because the whole loot box thing is literally so wild. You can't even really buy what you want. You have to gamble on the fact of what you want to get, and I just don't think that's fair in a game. Like, if you want to get something, you should be able to get something. It shouldn't be the fact of like, I've now brought like 20 premium loot boxes that all has rare guns in them, like, but another person might not be able to afford that, and they can only buy the £5 bronze box or whatever. Like, I don't know what they call them, and it only comes with like low tier guns and like a bunch of like skins and stuff like that. Nothing great comes from those boxes. I just really don't think it's like there's such like the probability of getting all these things. Like, I just think it's just weird how we've set it up to be like, you know, roulette, like almost, when it is roulette, and the drop rates on things are so low. Because obviously we know what the drop rates are now, because in China, the drop rates have to be publicized. So we know what the drop rates are, everything, and the drop rates are shit. They're so terrible. Like, you would think that the drop rates were a lot higher, but no, people are literally paying so much money to get one thing. Why can't you might as well just let them buy it? Like, at least it's more straight up and more straightforward. But no, people think that, oh, I'm only buying loot boxes, I have a better chance of getting them if I buy like 10 of them and I have to open all of them, because they would rather spend £20 on getting all these boxes rather than spending like £6 on buying the actual thing that they want. So that's a whole debacle in itself. Like, I think we're gonna cover loot boxes in a much more detailed way. We have a plan. Well, we've got plans for something else that we're gonna try to do, and we'll cover the loot box. And we're gonna have a couple of other people join us, and we're gonna talk about loot boxes. But that's for another time.
And there's just one more thing that I would want to say. As much as we give Fortnite shit for being a game that really has an annoying following around it.
Yeah.
Their monetization system is incredibly good because they don't force people to buy stuff. No one gets an advantage, and they manage to keep their game free to play and supported constantly. So I have to commend Epic for doing that.
Yeah, they got their little V-Buck shit, you know what I'm saying? You buy them, you can buy dances with them and stuff like that. It's all about the glory in it. Like, if you do a dance after you've killed like the second player in the 100-man match or whatever it is, like the battle royale, and you start dancing on screen and that's on a stream or something, it's hype. It's hype for people. This is what it is. Like, it's all about social media. It's all about clicks. It's all about, people make money off this now. Like, it's their livelihood. So they gotta buy the flashiest outfits and things like that. But I'm glad that there's no advantage to anything. Like, cosmetic wise, fair enough. Feel free, go crazy. But when it starts coming to actual guns that give you an advantage and things like that, I just think that's just really silly, and I don't think it should be allowed. So, but oh yeah, by the way, Fortnite, PlayStation 4 crossplay is allowed now. It's happened finally. Sony's finally decided that to join everyone else after we're being so stubborn, which is a really great thing. We haven't got much to say about it, to be honest, but I guess maybe crossplay might be a more normal thing now.
Yeah, I believe I saw a tweet earlier from the Rocket League, one of the guys that works on Rocket League. He said there's no current plans at the moment, but if people are interested, then contact Sony and updates will be announced in the future. So they've definitely got Rocket League coming.
Rocket League's definitely going to come.
It'll be a thing, and that is a positive to end on for the industry for games as we move into film and TV.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll start. So, what's this? Toy Story 4, Toyfinity War, apparently, is what it's going to be called.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like, but like Tim Allen, I just don't know. Like, Tim Allen tried to say that basically Toy Story 4 is like comparable to like the Avengers Infinity War. Like, I don't really like. I just don't know what he means by all of this, but yeah, I guess maybe they might be doing like a cliffhanger. Wouldn't that be a bit crazy though?
I don't know.
Like a Toy Story cliffhanger, like what's gonna happen? Find out in a year's time. Like,
I'm sort of up for that. I'm up for Emperor Zorg taking the Infinity Stones and killing all the toys.
Get rid of all of the toys. Like, Jesse's gone, Buzz is gone, like Mr. Potato Head's gone, but Mrs. Potato Head's still around. Like, that would be a bit crazy still.
I am worried because Tim Allen has said that the emotional toll of recording some of the end scenes really had an effect on him. And I'm worried because Toy Story 2 was sad. Like,
Toy Story 3 was sad when they were all in the end. We're about to burn. Most of the Toy Stories are sad. But
no, apparently, if he's like to the point where he had to record it several times and was possibly nearly in tears because he found it hard to get through, I'm seeing maybe a loss of some characters. And you know what? I'm up for that. I'm up for a franchise from my childhood, Pixar, Toy Story, that was around when I was like, I don't know, I think I was like 3 when the first film came out. I'm up for like Woody dying.
I'm up for Woody dying, But can they die though? This is the thing. Obviously, it's the Pixar universe. Like, there's a big theory online. Anyone who wants to find out, type in Pixar Universe Theory by John Negroni. And there's also another YouTube channel called Super Carlin Brothers. They do a really good, like, insight into the universe. It all connects together. It's a bit crazy. So I don't know if they can actually die, because Sid, he had all those toys and he put them all back together and they were all fine. So,
well, is this where the Avengers timeline comes in?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe someone goes back in time. This could be the most important Pixar film yet. I don't know.
I mean, I never thought I'd be discussing the story, like the timeline of Toy Story, but I mean, it's probably a fresh change to the series. Like, I feel like they did as much as they could with toys up to Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
And they can obviously still do more, but I feel like they need to change it up a little bit.
Do you know what the storyline is for this one?
No.
They're going to find Bo Peep.
Oh.
So I don't really know what that means, but yeah, they're basically going to find Bo Peep because that's Woody's like girlfriend, isn't it? So
yeah, just a PSA as well. I wasn't 3 when the first Toy Story came out. I was not born. So
I was not born. I was trying to think that I was a kid. Wait a minute, 95. I was like, what?
Yeah, I had a feeling it come out in I had a feeling it come out in 98 or 99.
No, 95. 99 was Toy Story 2 because I wasn't born either. Like,
that might be why.
Yeah,
I definitely had a Toy Story 2 poster.
Yeah, I had a Buzz. Lightyear.
I had all the toys.
Did you have Woody?
Yeah, I had a Woody, a Buzz, a Jessie.
My cousin had a Woody, and I had a Buzz. I think I had a Mr. Potato Head as well. I had a Rex as well. Where are those things, actually?
I can't answer that for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to think, where are these things? They're probably worth bare money now.
Nah, I doubt it.
But an original Woody and Buzz from back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably if they were in their boxes, maybe. Yeah.
I had a Stinky Pete as well. Stinky Pete with the G. Yeah,
I can't believe it's been 8 years since Toy Story 3. Don't you think that came out 2 years ago?
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long. But I like this is moving on from what we've just spoke about there. Pixar obviously taking their time with this. It's a beloved series, it's a beloved franchise, and they're not willing to just half-ass a movie and try and get it out within 2 years to make money. I know that's rich to come from me talking about a Disney company because Disney have a shitload of money and they can do whatever they want. But to get the best possible outcome, they obviously take their time.
Yeah. I think Pixar is obviously it's still a contractor for Disney. They're not owned by Disney. So technically they are still just an animation studio. Mm-hmm. Which their predecessors was they all came from Lucasfilm. It's weird how all of it is one big circle. Lucasfilm's now owned by Disney, and Pixar was the predecessors. There was the graphics. They were the graphics group for Lucasfilm originally. Steve Jobs, he was one of the former chairman. I think he was a founder as well.
Yeah, he was. Which
was insane. Apple funded the original Pixar first projects and all sorts of crazy stuff. Disney. Oh wait, hold on here. It says it's a subsidiary. Oh, Disney do own Pixar actually. Yeah, Disney do. Yeah, they purchased them. They purchased them in 2006 for $7.4 billion, converting each share of Pixar stock to 2.3 shares of Disney stock. That resulted in Jobs becoming Disney's largest single shareholder at the time because Steve Jobs owned it all, which is insane. Yeah, it's crazy how all these people are you can just tell companies like Apple, Pixar, they all take they give us quality things, you know what I'm saying? It just goes to show where it comes from, innit? In my opinion, the good, don't get at me, Android people. I know how you all feel about Apple.
It is though. It's time and dedication and care, and it's not. I mean, a release date has been announced, but it takes ages to do something like animation anyway, compared to a game. but at the same time, like, I feel like games should take a little bit longer, because we've seen before when people rush stuff or don't have the budget for stuff, then it can be terrible. Films is a great example of that. The amount of video games that have been tried to be turned into films just to flop and not make any money and just be basically like slated in the media and reviews and everything, because all they're trying to do is build something off a franchise and just make a quick buck off something that's popular at the time, in before Fortnite movie in 3 years. But it's going to happen because that's the way the industry works. And, you know, unfortunately, that's not, like, consumers aren't that dumb.
Yeah.
They want stuff fast, but they also want quality, which it's hard. But you either play to the consumers by giving them shit content but fast, or quality content but over an extended period of time. And I think that's possibly one of the reasons why Disney is so successful as well.
Well, they've always, like, yeah, that is why they are successful, to be honest. Yeah, they've always just, like, the quality comes from, obviously, you can start to see the cracks in where they're not successful, and that's usually when Disney's not handling the entire project. Like, that's when sometimes Disney IPs get, like, as I said, like, Star Wars is now a Disney IP. They gave it to EA. What happened? Disney literally was scrambling, and they were like to EA, we don't play this loot box rubbish. Like, you need to just cut it out and make sure the game is, like, you know, good. Because obviously it's got Disney's name on it. It's on their head now. And parents know Disney. You know what I'm saying? When people start putting Disney's Star Wars in the headlines, people are going to read that and they're going to not allow their kids to play the game because they think that they're gambling on it. So Disney are very, like, they're very particular in, like, how they handle their all of their projects, and that's why, like, quality things come out about it. But anyway, let's just carry on because time is super getting on right now. Would you want to go through? Do you want to go through the official death of the DC Extended Universe?
I feel
or Dark Phoenix, the last of the Fox universe of X-Men.
I don't feel like
they're both pretty terrible ends to both the universes.
I feel like we can just cover Dark Phoenix, the last X-Men film. Disney have bought Fox. The X-Men is going to Disney now. That film's coming out. It's getting some reshoots, and it's probably still going to be hot trash. So,
yep. The trailer just looks really, really, really like somebody put a load of, like, cuts of different X-Men films that they were working on together. I was like, well, this is Dark Phoenix. Like, I don't know how they mismanaged the X-Men series so much. It was so sick as well at the beginning. Do you remember the original X-Men series?
Yeah.
Like, how fire was that, though? Like, oh my gosh, I just don't know why they bothered going back in the past and having Magneto and Days of the Future. Oh my god, it's so confusing. Like, Logan was the best thing to come out of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely was the best thing to come out of all of that. And Deadpool as well, because that's a part of their universe as well.
There's other things like we're going to keep on Disney that Marvel are looking to do spin-off shows of MCU characters, but I think the main thing that we are going to get into is the DC stuff, because that's really the important stuff that's happened in this sort of current superhero movie era. And
everyone who's been listening already knows our stance on DC's extended universe. We're not big fans of it. So, but now they've even took it to a new level, which I didn't expect them to go into this direction at all. I can't believe what they do, but whatever in it.
Yeah, the continuity is just fucked. Like,
well, there is no continuity now. Like, let's just, like, basically, the DC extended universe is dead. Like, they've deaded it. They're not carrying it on. There's not going to be anything else after. There's going to be no Justice Leagues. They're going to continue with Wonder Woman because it's one of their most successful franchises. But this is the reason why they're not doing any. They don't seem to be doing any modern Wonder Woman films. They keep doing films of her in the past, so they can include like characters that are not included in modern day, I guess. So I think this is why we keep seeing her do all of these missions of her like having a monologue with herself. Like, I don't really know why they've even bothered to do these kind of things. Ben Affleck is officially not returning as Batman at all in any way, shape, or form. There's definitely 2 Joker films still coming out.
Yeah, have you seen the Joker makeup for Joker Phoenix?
Yeah, Joker and Phoenix looks crazy as the Joker still. I think it's going to be a good film, in my opinion. I do think it's going to be really good. It's just sad that he has to be tied to all of this rubbish, in my opinion. And I really hope the film does well and we get a more mature look. And I hope it's a 15 as well. I don't want it to be a 12A. So we can start seeing some more mature like content like from comics, because Marvel's basically got the 12A kids to adult genre. I was just going to say. Do you know what I'm saying? DC should just go totally off the deep end and just do the mature like content. Like, let's just see some real gritty films come from there. Like, because I feel like DC has more gritty stories that they can portray in films rather than Marvel. Marvel's a little bit more colourful. Like, and not to say that DC isn't colourful, because there is definitely colourful characters and storylines or whatever, but I'm saying that they could go around that darker route a lot better than Marvel. Like, Marvel's owned by Disney now. They can't really take those risks as much. Except for Deadpool, obviously, but they don't own that IP. Well, they will soon, but they didn't own it, so...
Yeah, I think that you've made a really good point where DC... Some of their best movies have been the mature take on a superhero. And I feel like if they're trying to attract the audience, obviously Wonder Woman worked, but it doesn't work in the universe. Like, that's fine. Aquaman's probably going to work for them a little bit as well. But the trouble is, if you're trying to compete with that, it might not work as much. This Joker film looks very interesting, actually. There's some sort of like screenshots and stuff and a little bit of it's not a trailer for it, but we've seen set shots, and it looks really interesting. It looks like it is going to be a mature take on the Joker as an origin story. It looks like it's going to possibly give people that like the Dark Knight trilogy another look at that sort of Batman. Because, I mean, animated stuff for DC, I watch a lot of the Batman animated films, things like The Killing Joke and stuff, and they can get quite gritty, some of them, and they're actually quite mature, like, for animated stuff. And if they can translate that onto the screen in live action, and maybe just go full out sort of, like, gruesome, like...
Yeah.
I'd like to see a Joker that literally is insane and will stop at nothing to
like try and turn Batman insane.
Yeah, I would go to the point where I'd want to see him locking people up and slashing throats and stuff and not really caring about what the consequences are, because he literally is insane.
Yeah,
and I know
we need to see that.
I know that Heath Ledger sort of like portrayed that a lot, but I feel like the problem is that's a problem for them to start with, trying to replace that. And the previous Jokers they've had before, they're very good. But if they can really pull on the fact that this guy is insane and extend a universe from that just for Batman, maybe, then I'm fine with that. I'm fine with a gritty look at some of these superheroes. Like, Marvel's all the bells and whistles and stuff and all the shiny things you want from a nice take your kids to see a superhero film.
Yeah.
Batman has always been more of a mature thing, and then the animated series is sort of more for the kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like they should stick with that.
I don't know why DC's not even like the film, like live action. Why they're not looking towards the animated films for inspiration? Because they do everything so well. Like that's where Marvel slips up. Marvel doesn't know how to do animated series very well, like films or anything, but DC know how to do them very, very well. Like Batman, Ninja, all those kind of films.
Mm-hmm. DC also make very good figures and comics.
Yeah. Oh, and their TV series are really good as well. The DC ones, like Young Justice and Teen Titans, and do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't really understand why they haven't really like. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, it is what it is. Obviously, and they've got a new Supergirl film not related to the TV show coming out. Like, it starts to confuse consumers and like fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got people who don't read comic books that watch the Supergirl film, and they're gonna go to the cinema expecting the same Supergirl that they see on TV to be on the film and not see her, and it's gonna make people upset. That's all I know. So if that was me and I seen that wasn't the same Supergirl, I'm gonna start to get confused about the storyline and start to think, well, who's this? Like, I thought it was all Supergirl. Like, this is why, like, Marvel, they're doing their spin-off TV shows, but they're including the actual actors of the film in the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't they do that?
I mean, they could. It's just, I think the trouble is DC definitely started most of their TV stuff before the extent, before Marvel did. DC did do TV series better a little bit back in the day. So I watched the first 2 seasons of Arrow, I think, when it first came out, and that was actually pretty good.
That's what they call it, the Arrowverse. Oh, give it a rest. But the Arrowverse.
The problem is that they haven't really followed that forward when trying to make this extended universe on film, on TV. I don't know if that's because they started early and hired actors without the intention of making films based on them. But it's an issue, and it needs to be solved. I don't think it will be solved quickly. I think they need to sit back and start again. But
yeah, that's the thing. They can't start again because the Arrowverse is so like popular. People love like The Flash and Supergirl and all these other shows that have like come with it. Like, they always have these major like crossover events that people like love so much. But like, they're just gonna have a bunch of like films and things that are standalone that don't connect together at all. And you just gotta think to yourself, why am I watching like unconnected Joker films? Why is there 2 Joker films? So like, what made you think to make 2 Joker films?
Mm-hmm. This is sort of the thing though. I don't know, as someone that likes DC content, I don't know if I want Batman to be included in Justice League with Superman and stuff like that. Like, I think the Gotham City, say universe, but the Gotham City area in itself and the storyline and characters around that area lead to so much more that you can expand on. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well,
Batman is probably one of the most fleshed out superheroes around.
I was going to say, everybody knows Batman's storyline. And I know they keep playing it at every film, at every beginning. Batman and his parents Batman's parents get shot, and Bruce Wayne's parents get shot, and then he turns into Batman. We see the same frigging scene every time the film comes on, and I'm sick of it. I don't want to see Batman's parents get shot again. We already know that happens. I'm pretty sure everybody who's come to see this film knows that Batman's parents get shot, and that's the reason why he's Batman. Why do we have to keep carrying on and seeing that? And the same thing with Superman. Everyone knows Superman came from Krypton in a spaceship and landed in Smallville. We all know that. So why carry on and keep doing it? We don't. In Spider-Man, we don't see Spider-Man getting bitten by a spider again every time. Do you know why? Because we already know Spider-Man gets bit by a spider. So what's the point? What's the point of carrying on and doing that and using the same origin story and the same tropes? Why can't we just have a Batman film? We're getting into Batman. Batman's already doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Marvel's still doing a lot better than DC, and it's just come to a head where now they're doing standalone films, and it just doesn't seem to be a good way, in my opinion. But as I said, we've got plans to discuss things like this a lot more detail, because we think that it's really important for us to talk about DC, because we don't hate the DC universe. We don't hate DC comics. We love Batman, Superman, like any other, like, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys love Batman as well, and Superman and whatnot. But it's just sad to see like things like this happen, because there's so much potential to make better films, and they're just not. Like, I don't know what the problem is. Maybe we're just being naive because we don't make films. But I don't know. Any more to say on that, Tom, or should we move on?
I'm just, as much as we've been negative about DC, I am really excited for the Joker film.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Joker and Phoenix. Not so much for the one that's starring Jared Leto or whatever.
Nah.
But I'm excited for that. And, you know, if they are going to end this, then I'd like to see possibly something built off that storyline, even if it's just like a trilogy or something. You know, maybe a Joker trilogy based on that storyline. Like, that could be interesting. I don't know, is this an alternate universe where Batman's too young to fight back and the Joker starts taking over? Like, they could build on that in the future. Who knows? Like, there's places they can take it, and I feel like they need to do that. But,
well, I've just got some like even more evidence now. Well, I'm guessing is this new Joker film? Is this the Martin Scorsese one?
I think it's based. Apparently, it's based off like the King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. They like inspired or influenced the film in a way.
Interesting. Well, Martin Scorsese was supposed to be directing a Joker film, but I'm just trying. That's what I'm trying to think. Is this the one, or is this?
I think this is not the one. I think it's inspired by like Martin Scorsese films, but it's not. It's directed by Todd Phillips, who did The Hangover. I don't think it's actually directed by Martin Scorsese, but the people that are working on it, Todd Phillips, who worked on The Hangover, and Scott Silver, who's a co-screenwriter, who worked on 8 Mile and The Fighter. Very sort of different films, but at the same time, very well-written films, you could say. So it sort of gives more for the future. And I'm not sure. I think De Niro's in this film as well, Robert De Niro. So there's experience behind it as well.
Oh, the Joaquin Phoenix film is produced by Scorsese, directed by Todd Phillips.
Okay, so yeah,
okay. So it's gonna be fire then.
I feel like it will be a good film.
Yeah, it's gonna be fire then. Cool. Well, I'll be definitely watching that one. I will not be watching the Jared Leto one. I am not seeing him do that again. Yeah, this one is a Joker, a failed stand-up comedian, is driven insane and becomes a psychopathic mass murderer. That's definitely a different origin story of the Joker. It always changes because nobody ever truly knows how he became that way. A lot of people say that he fell into like a vat. You know, there's like other ways that he's seen like his mom like kill herself or something. There's bare origin stories of the Joker, and nobody knows which one is the real origin. It's very like it's a lot. If you want to like check it out, I guess you can check it out, but there's no confirmed way of saying where he actually came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no definitive storyline, even though people try and say that the Killing Joke is like the most consistent one that a lot of people like to go with, but then some people like to go with the Red Hood one, where he was a stand-up comedian, but then he becomes a robber and dons the Red Hood, but then goes into a chemical vat, therefore turning him into the Joker.
Mm-hmm. I'd recommend as well, if you haven't watched The Killing Joke, to go and watch that, because
definitely go watch The Killing Joke.
The new animated one that came out recently is pretty good.
And
go on.
I would read as well Death in a Family. That is the most twisted Joker story that I've ever read as a comic book. It is horrific, and let's just say this: the Joker wears his own face. I would just say that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it.
We're sort of moving on to animated stuff that we just spoke about then, and music. And this, like, something that came out the other day, which surprised me a little bit, but excited me. Tenacious D made a six-part web miniseries for YouTube, and they're actually dropping like an album alongside it as well, called Post Apocalypto. So this is the first time since Tenacious D Pick a Destiny that they're doing like a film. So they're sort of calling it a film.
Yeah.
And they have creative freedom on it. Jack Black has penned the whole animated series by hand, which is impressive in itself. He said he was doing 9 to 5 days doing it. And they basically recorded the show as a radio show. And then he listened to the radio show every day and drew everything down. It's inspired a lot by Beavis and Butthead. And the stories apparently follows on from like one another, and the music fits in with that. The music written to the story of the show. And there's not really any boundaries set. YouTube gave him full creative freedom to do whatever they wanted. And Jack Black and Kyle Gass sort of ran with that and really reached some weird boundaries. But I feel like that's, if Tenacious D was ever going to be anywhere in the current era, then a short animated series would definitely be where it would fit. Like,
is definitely the way how to like go with it. Like, I would love for like Jack Black to like bring back like Nacho Libre this way. Hilarious.
He has said that they do plan on this hopefully becoming a thing. So, if this short web series gets picked up by Netflix, or even if YouTube pick it up, I think it is airing for free by the looks of it. I'm not entirely sure, but it is episodic. If it gets picked up by someone and they get like a few seasons out of it, I'm down for that, because I feel like this sort of thing has been missing a little bit, maybe. Like, there is a lot of animated adult shows now which are very good, but just basically crude, weird, psychedelic humor drawn out with music that goes along with it. Like, it's comedy in its own right as well. Like, that's how they started. And
I really like, I'm seeing like early Rick and Morty vibes coming from this. It's cool. Yeah, like, well, when it was called, like, what was Rick and Morty's thing called before this?
I have no idea what it was called before.
I can't remember. It was like Doc and something. It was weird anyway. It's super weird.
Doc and Marty, I think.
Marty, yeah, it's super weird. If you want to watch it at your own discretion, because it's weird. Yeah, this is super cool. Tenacious D was such a sick film back in the day when we was in school. Like, everyone always used to talk about Tenacious D, and like, it was just a joke. Like, it just really like gives me memories of like me being back in high school.
Yeah, album comes out on November 2nd. You can pre-order it. It's on streaming services as well. The songs are actually pretty good that have been released so far. The only downfall maybe is that it's not fully animated because obviously it's all penned by Jack Black. But
yeah,
if it does get picked up and
then
for something else,
obviously.
and they can maybe, you know, say season 1, and this is like a prelude, and do full animation on this sort of art style and everything with the music, then I feel like it could definitely be a great animated series to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to check it out. I haven't fully checked it out. I just watched a little bit there while we was talking, and yeah, it looks pretty messed up, and I'm in on it. Like, I'm in on stuff like that. So yeah. Moving on, because we are running out of time. As usual, we just get into like rabbit holes of like talk about things. It's usually to do with the DC universe because we're just so upset. But like, ton of new releases since we last did the show. I'll just go down the list. Brockhampton Iridescence finally released. Amazing, great album. First in the new trilogy of the Best Year of Our Lives trilogy. So yeah, we're expecting a new album maybe before the end of the year's out, or maybe by next year.
Before the end of the year's out.
Well, that's what they did with Saturation 2. That's what I'm saying. Like, they work pretty quick, you know what I'm saying? And that album is one that they recorded in 10 days in London. So you telling me they couldn't do one before the year's out?
Yeah, I think that's like the amount of talk we've said about people spending time on stuff. Like, Brockhampton somehow managed to produce stuff that is of quality very quickly. I don't know how they do it. There's a lot of them that goes into it, but fair play.
You got to think about it. They come from like our generation where we're DIY so much. Like, we just get it. We just do it. Like, we just get it done. Like, we will find a way. Like, the amount of times when the way how we record our show, like the way how we've done it, is literally like do it yourself. Like, if we allow things, such limitations such as not having the internet and things like that to stop us from recording, this, you know, the last 2 episodes wouldn't have came out. So sometimes you just got to find a way. Like, they will find a way to make an album on tour, like just as other artists do that as well. So, you know, it depends on your craft, on like how you can do it. But when it starts to deteriorate, that's when you need to take a step back and think, all right, okay, maybe I need to spend some more time. And fair enough, Iridescence has been technically in the works for like the last year. So they might have a bulk of music ready to go. So I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, back to the new releases. On the Run EP by Young Thug. Very impressive EP. Probably is... Karen.
I just wanted to point out the song with Elton John. Well, the remix basically of Rocket Man that he did. Elton John himself praised that song as well and said that he's met Thugger and was appreciative of the song and actually liked the song as well. So there's always high praise to come from someone such as Elton John remixing such a classic song in a different style.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just thought it was amazing. Like, Elton John, like, do you know the magnitude of Elton John? Like, I just don't think people understand. Like, that is so way more important than having like any other feature on like an album or EP. And Young Thug's just got him on the outro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just casually featuring Elton John. I was thinking, what? Like, only a few people have the pleasure of being with Elton John, which is weird because another person who has also been featured with Elton John is Chipmunk, who also goes by Chip. His new album 1010 is out, which is quite impressive. It's got a couple pop songs on there, a couple grime songs, a couple rap songs. It's very well rounded. Nice to see Chipmunk adapting to the new climate, because it's hard to adapt to like be such an artist that blew up and then went down to low like fame again, like when wasn't really relevant, to go back to being kind of semi-relevant. Now he's independent, which is good. So I appreciate things like that. The Masked One by LD from 6-7. He's released his first feature project. It's pretty cool. If you're into that kind of like drill, I like that kind of style of music from UK. It's like Chicago drill, but the UK version. It's hard. It's ignorant. It's everything that you want. It's just road. So if you want to listen to that, you can. East Atlanta Love Letter by Black, aka 6 Lack.
I was going to say I don't think anyone pronounces it like that, but I'm sure people do.
No, bare people say it to him on Twitter, and he gets so upset about it. Yeah, he's called Black, but spelt with a 6. His new album, East Atlanta Love Letter, it's alright. It's an okay follow-up to Free Black. New Patek or Patek by Lil Uzi Vert. Amazing single, samples an anime called Death Parade. Go and watch it. It's a really cool anime. A Young Sinatra 4 by Logic. I haven't listened to it yet. Have you listened to it yet?
Is that a question you need to ask?
I'm guessing no.
True say, I was planning to listen to the song with Jaden Smith.
I'm planning to listen to it as well because people are saying it's not that bad actually, so I will give it a listen. Chris by Christine and the Queens. I've been listening to that album lately. She's a French artist.
Christine and the Queens.
Makes pop like music, electric music, but it's really cool. It's like got like a funk element to it, and it's half French, and the album is in English and it's in French. So, you know, get your bilingual skills up, you know, broaden your horizons.
Check out their last album as well if you're interested in them, because the last album's pretty good itself.
Yeah, it's they're very impressive. I seen her on Jules Holland and I was like, this is fire. Like my sister and my mom was like, you need to watch Jules Holland because there's a cool French girl in there like that's like singing and dancing in TNs. I was like, huh? this is crazy. Drogas Wave by Lupe. It's really good. I listened to it like the other day. It's a really good album.
I still need to listen, but I've been getting good reviews off people that are telling me to listen to this.
It is super good. Great message on it. It's a concept album, half of it, and the other half is just seems to just be like an album, like really cool. Peach Fuzz by Tyler the Creator is now a single on Apple Music and other streaming services. That is out. Potato Salad is also a single now on streaming services, which leads me to believe Wang Sap is real and will be coming soon, but Tyler hasn't tweeted out the link, neither has ASAP Rocky, so I don't know what's going on there. Finally, after 5 years, the Carter 5 is finally out, and it's pretty good. I didn't think it was going to be good. It's pretty good, though. I didn't think it was going to be like... I thought it was going to be really dated, like it was going to sound old. There's a couple tracks on there that do sound old, but for the most part, I enjoyed the album. So...
yeah, I need to sit down and actually listen to it in full. But I've listened to some tracks, and from what I've heard, it's impressive so far.
Yeah, it doesn't sound the I don't listen to X really, like his music outside of anything. We know he had his case, stuff like that. I don't really agree with him, but you know, the Lil Wayne song is really good. It's kind of sad. It's kind of a little bit weird and kind of haunting hearing his voice on a, like, it's obviously it's been since his death, like, and Lil Wayne even says it. He's got like, he's, you know, X's passed. I've got his like vocal. He says something along the lines, "I've got his vocals," and he says "rest in peace" or something like that. We don't know if this is coming out yet, but we are going to like run over Kanye West as well, like, and see what he's saying. But Yandhi's supposed to be out by now. Who knows if it's going to be out by the time the show comes out? We shall see. Spaceman by Octavian, haven't listened to it yet. I'm getting good reviews about it. Ghetto Gospel by Getz is out. I heard that's really good. It's a very conscious album. Listen to that if you're feeling that. An EP by a guy called Odox. Shouts out to our friends over at Revolt. That's their guy. His EP's out called Regret Nothing. It's really cool. It's English rap, UK rap, pretty like grimy, like almost like a punk aesthetic to it, like guitars and stuff like that. Check that out if you definitely want to hear something new. Awful Swim by Father. Bankroll featuring ASAP Rocky was just teased by Brockhampton. Like what at the time when we've been recording this, and it sounds crazy. So I'm thinking new album soon, maybe, just like we was talking about. So yeah,
do you reckon it'll drop before Yandhi?
The internet's going wild about that album at the moment. Like they're so upset that it's not out.
I sort of understand, but it's like it's been 24 hours. Like,
yeah, I know. Like, but he did say it was going to come out on Saturday, though.
Yeah, he did. But at the same time, Mike Dean also said, "Do you want?" Did you see the tweet that he replied?
Yeah. Do you want shit or do you want quality? But also, like, it's Kanye at the end of the day. Like, we can't really take his word for anything. Like, he's just all over the place at the moment. So,
Kanye's on his troll shit, and I'm up for watching Kanye dressed as bottles of Perrier for the next 5 years and dancing around with that smile on his face. I know the performance was whack, but him dancing around in that costume smiling, he looked so happy.
Yeah, he did look really happy. He does look happy. It's not like he don't look happy, but it's just like, it's just weird. Like, I don't know, like, it's just so weird. And all this, like, oh, we've got, like, all about this, like, love and, like, stuff like that. And, like, about, like, the MAGA hat and love. I'm like, I just don't really know where he's going with that. We just want the album. Do you know what I'm saying? I just want to hear what he has to say in music. Like, I am just separating Kanye West from the rest of the bullshit that he keeps going on about. Obviously, I'm here, this is technically, like, this is not our job, but it's kind of like our job to report on this. So we just want to just get to the music. The antics is bullshit, and we don't agree with his antics at all. But, like, at the end of the day, he is Kanye West, and Yandhi is probably going to be something totally different again from Ye. And he just still manages to still do that. I don't know how, but, like, the new song with Tiana Taylor, I'm not feeling it too much, in my opinion. I really wasn't feeling it. It just seemed like a mess. Like it seemed like a Tiana Taylor song featuring Kanye.
I feel like the performance let it down. But when they performed
Ghost Town,
that performance was possibly one of the best performances I've seen of a song on SNL.
I think Shake bodied that, like, but yeah,
again, like it didn't make up for the fact that he was dancing around as a bottle of Perrier with Little Pump dressed as a bottle of Fiji water next to it.
Yeah, Lil Pump, who like apparently like broke so many, like, I don't know, they call it Ofcom over here, but there were so many complaints because he said fuck about 15 times.
Yeah.
When he's not supposed to, because it's live, obviously. So, like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, like,
I feel a bit, so it's controversial, but I feel a bit sorry for Pump. Like, I do feel like he is depicted as this person that has no talent and can only sing Gucci Gang, and that's it. Like, he's not that bad, and to be honest, he seems like a pretty nice, well-rounded guy, despite the drug problems that he has.
Well, Pump's not. The thing is, we get depicted and we get bogged down by all these image-based things, but Pump, he's not on anything. Like, he's pretty like when him and J. Cole like met each other and stuff like that, there was no beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, J. Cole understood where he come from. They talked about it. He tried to educate Lil Pump and try and make sure like he saves his money, because he is one of these new rappers that have just like got so much money. Like, he just needs to be careful with the money, because like he's in this like climate, like rap is not going to pay your bills forever. Do you know what I'm saying? You get older. You know what I'm saying? You need to get your business right. So I do feel sorry for Lil Pump because the fame has been very fast, and everyone kind of just it's that type of music. It doesn't need just turn up music. I'm not going to Lil Pump to hear bars. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think this is the difference now. So you've got like the past generation, which is what I'm gonna call like Jay-Z, 50, Kanye, Lil Wayne, like
Nas, all them man there.
They can still be rapping when they're like Jay-Z's 50-ish. Like they can still be rapping at that age and get away with it because their image isn't outrageous and their whole basically their brand and their artist is built on like a normal thing.
Yeah, and also you got to think to yourself, like, all the people that you just named are all businessmen now as well. Like, they all have other things to fall back on rather than just rap music. Like, they don't need to rap. Like, Jay-Z definitely doesn't need to rap. He just topped the Forbes list for, like, best, like, rap, like, Forbes list. Like, 50 doesn't need to rap anymore. He's got power. He's doing films. He's doing other TV shows. Like, he don't need to do nothing. Kanye's got Yeezy, one of the biggest trainers right now, like it's so big. The
company's one of the fastest growing companies.
Yeah, exactly. One of the fastest growing companies as well. And he's trying to turn Yeezy into like a lifestyle brand, which is insane. And who else? Nas is invested in bare tech startups, and he has so much money. Like, I didn't even know Nas was doing this, but yeah, he's investing in tech startups. Like, and that's where he's getting his money from.
Mm-hmm. I can't forget Dre.
Yeah, Dre, Beats, Apple. The deal that he made off that was insane. Like, you know, Diddy, Ciroc. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the biggest vodkas in the world. You know, like, it's just...
All I'm saying is, I can't imagine, like, a group of 50-year-olds turning up to, like, a Lil Pump concert in 30 years from now, like, with this fat guy on stage with, like, pink dreads, and there's all these old people in the crowds, like, walking sticks in the air and shit, like, turning up.
Shouting out Gucci Gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't really make sense.
I mean, I'd pay to see that, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, like, I understand, obviously, in it. Like, I do understand, but, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, we could talk about this all night about the climate of mumble rappers and money, and, you know, who's going to be the next, like, how Brockhampton's got the number one. Oh yeah, by the way, Brockhampton got the number one album. They beat Josh Groban, which is super big, because I swear Josh Groban's like a country legend. Like, yeah, they beat Josh Groban. They did more numbers than anyone has expected them to do. And also Lil Wayne is reportedly supposed to be set to do about 400k, which is insane for Lil Wayne still.
I heard more accurate figures of 5'4", 540. No.
5'4", 540? Lil Wayne?
No, 540. Like 540k.
What the hell?
Week.
I am never expecting Lil Wayne to do that, you know. I thought he was at least doing about 200.
Nah, apparently it's like, he's definitely got number one spot. Like, no doubt.
That is insane, you know.
And some people are trying to say on Twitter that Logic's trying to compete for that number one spot.
Compete for where? Oh, bullshit, man. Logic can't compete for number one. I think Logic is, what I looked at, is supposed to do around 150, maybe?
It's decent numbers.
It is decent numbers, because Logic has a core fan base, which is like really, really, really stuck to it. But like, this album is him rapping over like kind of like old school boom bap beats. So maybe like some of his fan base, like non-core fan base, can't vibe with it because it isn't like his other albums that are more like trappy, like a bit more poppy. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
I feel like we should just end on like what we covered earlier, like between ourselves off air.
Yeah.
And it's not sort of like a bad way to end it, but we had like a discussion earlier about Kanye and all the stuff that happened, MAGA and stuff like that. Not politically based or anything. We don't want to get political, but
nah.
I think we basically agreed. I mean, I said that he's a genius. You come back and said he's not a genius, but we did agree he's a musical genius and he's good at doing what he does.
Yeah, of course.
The problem is he needs to learn to stick doing what he does and not drag his persona into something that shouldn't really be touched upon by stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I sort of see that he's getting at it in a way to possibly market stuff, and he's seeing the fact that using MAGA hat is a positive for certain things.
Yeah. And
he's trying to make a change. But the thing is, you've tried and it didn't work. Like, don't keep pushing it. Be gracious and accept that it didn't work that way and move on. Like, all you're doing at the moment is drumming up hype from the wrong people, and that's not what people want.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kanye is still top 10 for me, and for you, we said. Like,
yeah, I did say.
I think the last album, Yay, was a really good album in my opinion. I know a lot of other people didn't connect with it as much, but for me, I really liked it. Listened to it earlier today, and it still holds up.
Funny you say that. I listened to Yay today as well, and I do think it is. I'm getting a different perspective on the album now that I've actually like listened to it, revisited it, should I say? So yeah, it's pretty interesting how it's all going. But yeah, I think that's I don't know. Like, we're gonna have to see when Yandhi releases. I will give my full breakdown on what I think about Kanye when Yandhi releases.
Yeah, I think that's right. But
yeah, it's about it, really, innit?
Yeah, just one thing I'd say: if you if there's like any album in general, but like we're just talking about Kanye albums. If you didn't connect with Yay when it came out because of the album's controversial release and everything that surrounds it, as Kanye normally does when an album comes out, go back and listen now without the added exposure of all that stuff, and you might get a different feeling for it.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think that's why we love music so much. You can listen to it whenever and get a different perspective every single time.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely could do that.
I feel that's a nice way to end there. That's a very nice way to end. Is there anything that you want to add, or should we just get in, plug in the social medias, and then let everyone know about the playlist?
Yeah, I think that's a cool way to finish the podcast. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this today, then listen to our weekly playlist where we round up songs every week on Spotify and Apple Music. Just search for 808s and Joysticks weekly playlist, and you can catch us on demand anywhere. This is episode 16 now, so there's many more episodes that you can go back and listen to in our catalogue, and you can catch us on most places: Spotify, Podbean, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, anything and everywhere. We're on most podcast streaming platforms, so you can definitely find us somewhere. And if you ever have anything interesting to say or want to get in contact with us, then feel free to just hit us up on social media at 808s and Joysticks, or at 808s and Joystick on Twitter. You'll find us on all social medias, and we're always happy to help. So just hit us up and let us know if you want to have something to possibly speak about on the show.
Yeah, we always are like, so we want you lot to message us, like feel free. We're not horrible people. Quite friendly. Like, you just talk to us anytime if you've got any questions or anything. We need to do that again, actually. We need to have people ask us questions again, and we're going to answer them, because I like doing that. I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's about it, really. Obviously, weekly playlist as well. Go follow that, all that good stuff. Dash Radio, yeah. Thursdays. When is the time again?
7 p.m. Pacific time and 3 a.m. British summer time.
There you go. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks everyone. Episode 16. Wow. Yeah. Catch you guys later.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please check the credits in the description to see what songs we used.